Hello, welcome back. Let us go back to the issue of the two-way convergence between the current practice and the ERP package, and specifically to the adaptation of the ERP, or rather of its implicit business process design. In the last video, we discussed how companies always try first to achieve the desired adaptation through parameterization. We will now discuss what happens once the built-in flexibility offered by the parameterization has been used up. At this point, the user company is faced with a choice. It either adapts through business process reengineering, BPR, to the properly parameterized but still fully standard ERP in what is called a plain vanilla implementation, or it resorts to coding-based customization. As its name suggests, coding-based customization involves using computer programming in the appropriate programming languages to add additional programs and/or to modify the existing ones. Companies are understandably reluctant to embark in substantial coding-based customization. To abbreviate, in this video, we will simply call it customization. In contrast to parameterization, customization can lead to substantial costs, delays, risks, and maintenance issues. Before we go further, we should clarify that not all customizations are created equal. Sophisticated ERPs provide hook-up points where additional code can be inserted in a hassle-free manner. It is not the same thing to write some lines of code to improve a report than to fiddle around with the core components of an ERP. Thus, for the sake of clarity, we will consider the light, more superficial customization as almost an extension of the parameterization. We'll focus here, though, on the issues involved in more substantial customization, of the type that would normally be required to modify the implicit business process design. Let us look at customization's major drawbacks. First, cost and time. Coding can use up a lot of time and resources. Even though ERPs have become way more open in recent years, meaning that customization has been made easier, they will still normally require specific programming skills that are unlikely to be available within the user company. Second, risk. Software development projects, especially those involving modifying existing programs, are risky. They often go wrong, incurring in cost and time overruns, and sometimes failing altogether. Third, maintenance. A nice thing about implementing a package acquired from a software company is that a support maintenance contract can be signed, providing for support if something fails, as well as for a stream of enhancements or versions. If, however, the user company modifies the standard ERP, failures due to the modifications will not be supported. Newly developed programs are way more likely to fail than standard, thoroughly tested ones. And, even if the problem does not stem from the modifications, finger-pointing might make it harder to get support from the provider for modified software. Besides, new versions or enhancements might not be compatible with the coding-based customization carried out, thus preventing the company from benefiting from valuable enhancements or requiring costly recoding and retesting. Consequently, companies implementing an ERP generally try to restrict coding-based customization to truly important requests, generally supported by a business case. Often, requests for modification simply stem from users' reluctance to change, leading, for example, to petitions aimed at making the format, look, and operation of the new system similar to that of the old system it replaces. A well-managed implementation project will reject these requests, and, if any, authorize only those that have a real business impact. Quite often, the only convincing reason for embarking in a significant customization is the existence of a competitive advantage based on the difference between the way in which that company carries out a given process and the generally accepted best practice, normally designed into the ERP. It should be noted that customization only makes sense up to a relatively low level of modification. If the functionality offered by a properly parameterized ERP module is very different from its requirements, it is best to forego the implementation of that module altogether. Thus, companies implementing an ERP must first fully exploit the flexibility offered by the choice of ERP packages, the loading of reference data, and all the options provided by parameterization. If significant gaps still persist with the desired to-be design, they can explore the coding-based customization option. Given its costs, risks, and maintenance-related issues, however, they are normally very restrictive in the customizations they approve, insisting in a clear business justification, such as preserving a distinctive competitive advantage. The level and complexity of customization will be a key element in determining the implementation approach, as we shall be discussing in the following videos. Thank you. I will see you there.